So people seem to be really into mechanical keyboards right now. And if you're not familiar with what they are, they're basically just a keyboard that sounds nicer. Anyways, my friend has a keyboard, but it's not quite mechanical. Yeah, so that's not great. But I decided that I am going to be building him a mechanical keyboard. So now he did buy the keyboard, but I'm gonna help him mod it. Alright, so first things first, this is the keyboard. It is the Epomaker Sk64. Now it does have Gateron optical yellows. Now that means that the keyboard works with lasers. Crazy, right? Essentially a little laser is shot across, and when it's pressed down, that laser can flow through and a switch click is detected. But for reasonable purposes, it's pretty much the same. Anyways, here's a stock sound test, no mods done. Now that might not have sounded great, but it is an alright starting point. So the first thing we're going to do to the board is take off all of these keycaps. Now with the keycaps off, let's just say this board was a little bit filthy. I mean, he's only had this keyboard for a month. Wow. But he does have several pets, so I'll cut him a little bit of slack. But of course, I do have to still clean this. Ugh. Alright, so with the board clean and the switches out, now it's time to add some foam in the case. So this is what the case looks like, and it's pretty empty. I mean, there is a lot of space in there, so I'm going to grab some foam and throw it in there. Now, I did have to poke screw holes in the foam, but this should make a huge difference. For anyone not aware, what foam does is it takes all that empty space inside the board and fills it up so it doesn't sound as pingy and like hollow. Alright, with the board filled up with foam, we also did the tape mod on the back of the PCB. Now all that's left to do is the switches. So we've got them over there, and the stabilizers, I guess. But let's do one sound test of the switch. Now the board is starting to sound pretty nice. Delicious even. Let's keep going. Now without further ado, it's my favorite time. It's time to do the stabilizers. Now this really is not my favorite part. After hours and hours of trying and trying and crying, I finally got the spacebar sounding just right. Now the really small amount of ticking or rattle you might hear might be the fact that it's not screwed in yet, so that might play a role. Now with that spacebar done, all that's left to do is put the switches and keycaps back on. So let's go. Alright, so I put the first couple switches in, but I'm gonna get a little tired, so I'm gonna use a little bit of magic. Alright, it's done. Now all that's left to do is do some keycaps. But before we do so, I'm gonna use some canned air and make sure it's clean. Whoa, it's done. There we go. Now all it's time to do is a sound test. Now before I show you the sound test, we're gonna do a quick before and after. So if you remember, it sounded like this. And now it sounds like this. Now, I'm sorry the sound test was a little bit scuffed, but I think my friend was pretty happy with it. Here's his reaction. Nice.